the Sri Lankan crisis. Joining us on the broadcast at this point is Harini Amarasuriya. She's a Sri Lankan MP, a member of parliament from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for speaking to us today, ma'am. We've of course seen those visuals, unprecedented scenes which came out from Sri Lanka yesterday. Your views, ma'am, on what is happening? It's the angst, it's the frustration, it's the anger of the people of Sri Lanka. How do you view it?
So as you know, what happened yesterday was a culmination of protests that have been taking place for now over 3 months, calling for the resignation of initially the president, but then of the entire government, including the prime minister, the newly appointed prime minister. So the refusal of the president and the government to resign was what pushed people to call for this protest yesterday on the 9th, where thousands were asked to come to really, it was called like the final struggle for a people's victory, and this is what actually happened. People in their thousands came to Sri Lanka, came to Colombo despite the fuel shortages, despite the restricted public transport. People walked kilometers, people hired whatever vehicles, people borrowed vehicles and just came in their thousands to Colombo yesterday, and basically have occupied the president's house as well as the prime minister's official residence. And at the end of it, the president has agreed to resign. He's given a date, the 30th of July, as is the effective date of resignation. The Prime Minister has also said that he will resign. It was largely a peaceful protest. There was no violence from the side of the protesters yesterday. There was some violence from the side of the military. A couple of people were shot. Many were injured due to tear gas attacks, but largely it was a peaceful protest, and the people are now occupying both the official residences of the president as well as the prime minister. Of course, politically this means that now there has to be various new decisions that have to be made with regard to a caretaker government possibly. Yesterday, the party leaders met and agreed that the president and prime minister must resign. Constitutionally, then the speaker will be acting president till the parliament appoints a new president. And all parties have also called for a quick election so that this conflict, this kind of dissonance between the leaders of the country and the aspirations of the people can be resolved through giving people an opportunity to exercise their mandate.
Ma'am, what does Sri Lanka need immediately, and how can we help?
So immediately there are, of course, the humanitarian needs that were the initial thrust that brought people to the streets. The fuel shortages, the medicine shortages, the spiraling inflation, and the heavy cost of food. Food inflation is at an astounding 80% right now, so that's a real concern. So those issues have to be addressed as quickly as possible, as burden on people have to be eased. So international community's help in this regard is essential. But in the long term, people are also demanding political transformation of the political culture, transformation in the governance models. They want constitutional reform so that the controversial executive presidency can be abolished, accountability for corruption and for human rights violations. So there's a host of reforms that are political reforms that are also essential, and we believe the two have to go together.
A lot of people are of the opinion that the role of China was extremely dubious as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. Do you agree with this assessment, ma'am?
No, so there has been a perception anyway that the Rajapaksa family was more pro-China than any other government in Sri Lanka previously. But if you look at actual sort of hard evidence, yes, there was a leaning towards China. But in terms of actual debts, that our loans from China are not significantly higher than loans that we have taken from other sources. But there is a need to once again return to a more non-aligned, independent foreign policy. There's no doubt about that. And our failure to sort of ensure that the failure of the Rajapaksas in terms of managing a foreign policy that was independent has also caused a lot of problems, particularly in terms of our relationship with our regional neighbors, particularly India.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.